10's Late News with Sandra Sully.
Tonight, the GST Blitz, a new hard sell for tax reform.
Tax.
There needs to be a very strong message out there to say the system is stuffed.
An amazing escape, wild scenes as a speedboat spins out, and a fortune snowballs, turning software into hard cash.
The rich really are getting rich.
But first tonight, hints of a breakthrough in the deadlock over a race-based election. The federal government is examining Senator Brian Harradine's compromise demands. One proposal handing Aboriginal negotiating rights to the states. With an election only months away, Labor's Kim Beazley was dancing to the tune of Australia Post today as all sides of politics try to woo voters in the bush. To avoid a double dissolution election, the government's weak native title bill must pass through the Senate within the next 2 weeks, with the crucial vote of independent Brian Harradine.
You can say that I blinked if you like, but...
In a bid to break the impasse, tonight the Tasmanian Independent put new amendments on the table.
We've got to see how much blink there is in Brian Harradine's submission.
One option is to hand the right to negotiate back to the states.
But if, for argument's sake, it involves areas outside the arena of federal legislation, then of course that is something on which there would be room to manoeuvre.
John Howard's office says there's still a fair gap between the two sides, with the PM standing firm on the issue earlier in the day.
People should remember that our bill is not an ambit claim, it's already a compromise.
They're not interested in a weak solution, they're interested in a weak election. And the country would be the poorer for it.
With or without a double dissolution, the government plans to hold an election by the end of this year. And despite the opinion polls, John Howard isn't so sure One Nation will win a swag of seats.
I don't think people should see what's around at the moment as a totally reliable indicator of what might occur when a ballot actually takes place.
Stephanie Kennedy, 10 News.
The hard sell for tax reform has begun. Big business launching a $4 million campaign telling us our tax system needs fixing.
36 business organisations are paying millions to prepare us for a GST.
If we do not fix the tax system now, reform will not happen for a long time, and this will be devastating to the nation.
It's not supposed to be a political campaign.
It's non-partisan.
But the business adverts hitting TV screens tonight come straight from the government script.
The tax system is unfair and getting worse. Toothpaste has a 22% hidden tax.
And you pay 12% on many toiletries and ordinary household items. Yet on the other hand, you don't pay any on caviar.
Why is caviar exempt from tax?
Why does Labor support a system where you put a 22% tax on a car but don't tax an aeroplane?
And why is a private jet exempt from tax?
Ad man John Singleton hired 2 former political party bosses to run the campaign.
There needs to be a very strong message out there to say the system is stuffed.
Even the man behind Labor's 1993 anti-GST election victory has changed sides.
My life, like yours, has moved on since then. I don't no longer run the Labor Party.
Business wants a GST of up to 12.5%, meaning it will pay less tax and families, according to the opposition, will pay more. But Labor's been attacked for avoiding the tax reform problem.
A political party in a time walking hand in hand down the economic path of Hansonism.
Paul Smith, 10 News.
3 people have been critically injured in a tourist bus crash south of Brisbane. A motorcycle collided with 2 cars, crashing before the bus and bursting into flames.
And then when I looked back up, all you could see was a big burl of smoke coming up and then the flames and everybody jumping out of the bus.
The motorcyclist and his passenger were among the most seriously injured. No one on the bus was badly hurt. The accident closed the northbound lanes of the Pacific Highway between Brisbane and the Gold Coast for several hours. A spectacular spill on the Georges River in Sydney captured on camera. Speedboats aren't meant to fly, but this one certainly did. Owner-driver Malcolm McColl was luckily thrown clear as the boat's supercharged motor exploded. McColl was taken to a Sydney hospital with suspected fractures and internal injuries and is expected to make a full recovery. The boat, named the Chase, is a write-off.
Police have expressed anger today over a lethal robbery in Sydney. Bandits shot and killed 51-year-old Salima Dinawi overnight as she helped her son Michael, a security guard, deliver cash to a bank in the city.
It's brutal, it's savage, it's absolutely uncalled for.
The victims were not armed. Michael is recovering from a bullet wound to the thigh. Police are tonight searching for 4 suspects. They believe the robbery was an inside job. In Perth, 5 police have been disciplined over a wild riot. They were accused of excessive force after a party ended in violence 6 weeks ago. Teenagers let loose with bricks and bottles, and some officers responded with their batons and boots. The officers who used excessive force have been cautioned and given extra training on conflict resolution. Imagine earning more than $1,000 a second. Well, that's life for Microsoft whiz Bill Gates. For the 4th year in a row, he's topped the Forbes magazine Rich List. But there are some Australian billionaires not far behind.
By the time Microsoft chairman Bill Gates answers the phone, he's earned more than most of us do in a month, making a cool $1,055 a second. That's $3.8 million an hour, $93 million a day, $653 million a week, $2.83 billion a month. Topping Forbes magazine's list of the planet's top 200 billionaires, the computer whiz remains the richest man on Earth with a net worth of $84 billion.
The rich really are getting richer. I mean, we looked at people all over the US, Europe, Latin America.
Worth nearly $9 billion, Australia's media magnate Rupert Murdoch comes in 15th. Kerry Packer, the 98th richest person in the world, with $5.2 billion. A notable new inclusion to the list, the family of former Indonesian President Suharto. His 32 years in power adding up to $6.6 billion. And on the secondary list of the world's richest royals and dictators, the Queen comes 5th, her worth $20 billion. And, by the way, in the time it took to read this story, Bill Gates' bank account increased by almost $80,000. Mignon Henny, 10 News.
Stay with us. Still to come in tonight's late news. Australia's new tobacco war. Day 1 of the TAB shares punt. Also a rap star under arrest. Bob Brown's busted. And later the TV special offer she couldn't refuse.
I love you, Christine Louise Avenbrook.
A Toowoomba man has been jailed for 6 years for killing his pregnant wife and dumping her body in a lake. Ian Riley was found guilty of the manslaughter of his wife Sylvia by drugging her, but the victim's mother insists her son-in-law is innocent.
Totally innocent, yes.
Riley's own mother agrees. Both women say he was set up. Ian Riley will be eligible for parole in 15 months. Further north, and a search for clues to a diving tragedy near Cairns. 46-year-old Sydney woman Rowena Sines died after becoming separated yesterday from 2 diving companions. They were found drifting but alive after a 6-hour search. Tonight the victim's body was brought to shore where a post-mortem examination will be conducted. Police fear a fisherman may have been swept off rocks in Sydney's east this afternoon. Water police and Polair are searching waters off Tamarama Beach after fishing tackle was discovered on the rocks and in the water. A Perth man says he was jet-lagged when he stole a luggage loader at Melbourne Airport. Peter Coleman told the court he wanted to get to the other side of the tarmac in a hurry, and the quickest way was to drive a luggage vehicle. The 29-year-old oil rigger kicked in an emergency exit door, letting himself onto the prohibited runway area. Mr. Coleman received a 3-month suspended sentence and was fined $750. The Anti-Cancer Council has reacted angrily to revelations it's been the target of tobacco companies. It now wants Australia to sue the big manufacturers for billions of dollars.
When tobacco companies recently settled a $6 billion lawsuit against them in the States, they were forced to disclose campaign strategies on the internet. One of those strategies was a campaign of intimidation against Australia's Anti-Cancer Council. It was developed in 1992, the same year Philip Morris began suing anti-smoking groups for misinformation.
Colleagues in the United States were also sued at the same time, so it could have been part of a global strategy.
The document reveals a push to prevent legislation banning tobacco event sponsorship and putting pressure on board members of the Australian Cancer Council.
We have no problem with people being aware that we monitor our operating environment and indeed monitor the public policy debate on issues affecting our business.
The document also shows a bid by Philip Morris to get politicians on side, citing a need to create sufficient counterforces in Australian political life that the antis lose their ability to legislate and regulate. The tobacco giant is a well-known sponsor of Liberal Party events.
And I'm sure they'd seek to do that. I think that is their legal right. It's the way people and politicians respond to that.
The government's response, a tobacco awareness campaign worth $4 million, less than 1,000th of the money generated by tobacco taxes.
How are these tobacco companies influencing political parties? Are they unfairly influencing politicians?
The Cancer Council is calling on Australians to follow the United States and sue tobacco companies for health and community costs. Like the US, those claims could run into the billions. Robert Obadia, 10 News.
American rap star Bobby Brown is in trouble with the law again. He's been arrested at a Beverly Hills hotel on a misdemeanor charge of sexual battery. Police haven't released details of the allegations, but Brown, who is married to singer Whitney Houston, insists he's innocent.
I wouldn't hurt nobody. I wouldn't touch nobody. I got 2 daughters, I got a wife, beautiful mother, and 4 sisters. I would never do anything to hurt you.
Brown is out on bail tonight. In 1995, he was accused of beating a nightclub customer, but ended up settling out of court. A freak storm has killed at least 6 people in Moscow. The hurricane-strength winds uprooted trees, damaging buildings and cars. More than 1,000 Muscovites were injured. Most are victims of falling trees and billboards. Not even the Kremlin could weather the storm. Several of the landmark's turrets were destroyed. The heat is now on the local weather bureau because it didn't warn residents about the 20-minute storm. In the US, Florida has been declared an official disaster zone, bushfires burning out of control. 27,000 hectares have been burnt out. Drought and searing temperatures are being blamed. Firefighters say it will take a major tropical storm to put the wildfires out. The Pope has ended a 3-day visit to Austria, but not without incident. The Pope mobile snaked through the streets where demonstrators greatly outnumbered the 50,000 cheering Austrians who lined the route. Austrian Catholics are divided between conservatives and progressives who want female priests and an end to celibacy for males. While Pope John Paul remained silent about local issues, the Vatican issued a statement on behalf scolding feuding bishops. From the pontiff to a one-man population explosion, Brazilian Casanova Fidelis da Silva says he's not one to boast, but claims to have slept with 3,700 women. He's fathered 54 children by 27 different partners. The offspring are aged between 3 and 35, and it's no surprise he can't remember all their names. The 54-year-old isn't resting on his laurels. He says he'd love to be a father to 100 kids, but he has no intention of marrying. The world's most popular feline is again lapping up all the attention. It's cartoon cat Garfield's 20th birthday, and to celebrate the life of this tubby tabby, there's an exhibition in his honor at Florida's Museum of Cartoon Art. Garfield has clawed his way to the top. He's read by 220 million people in 87 countries. There's next to no chance of Garfield slimming down that waistline, though. The lasagna-loving puss now has plans to open a worldwide restaurant chain. When the late news continues, 25,000 litres of wine down the drain. Evidence tonight watching the World Cup can be a health hazard. Also, Joan Curtis celebrates a major milestone with music. Then in sports tonight, political foes Iran and the United States head-to-head in soccer's World Cup. A truck driver escaped serious injury when his semi-trailer rolled today, but it was a heartbreaking sight for wine lovers. The tanker was carrying 25,000 litres of white wine when it tipped over. The tank ruptured and wine worth about $150,000 went literally down the drain. A homeless woman who plays classical piano at an exclusive Hobart hotel in return for shelter has been robbed of her only possessions. The woman, who identifies herself as Natalie, plays at the Grand Chancellor Hotel in exchange for an armchair where she can sleep at night. But over the weekend, as she rested, someone stole her belongings, as Natalie has left now with just her unique music talent. In this corner of the globe, World Cup mania equals sleepless nights. Thousands of Australian soccer fans are burning the candle at both ends, but sleep experts warn die-hard supporters are putting themselves at risk.
Here's Thierry. Oh, it's beautifully taken.
It's a madness that's sweeping the nation. For 33 days, World Cup soccer action is turning the globe upside down. In some countries, sales of colour TV sets have doubled, but here at home, it's exhaustion and mental disorders that are on the rise. Die-hard fans are burning the midnight oil to support their teams. Footy Fever highlighting the potentially disastrous effects for night owls who simply don't get enough shut-eye.
It will translate, I think, for some people into a bigger risk of motor vehicle accidents, a bigger risk of work-related accidents, and a bit of stress and strain at home.
I've watched near on every game. That's 2 a night, and I'm absolutely destroyed from it.
I get up nearly every night for 3 or 4 hours.
Once you see the bags under my eyes, they're getting bigger. They're getting bigger and bigger by the day.
What happens when you don't get enough C's? Well, people start to get irritable, suffer memory loss, and coordination becomes a problem.
And beyond that, some people start to get changes in perception. They start to feel persecuted. And if you really keep pushing it, up to the sort of 30, 40, 50 hours, some people can actually get, frankly, psychotic.
Claudia Bertorello, 10 News.
The New South Wales TAB is off and racing on the Australian Stock Exchange. It was listed as a public company today. Most of the 450 million shares were offered to ordinary investors, but were heavily oversubscribed. They ended up getting a mere 257 shares each at $2.05. The stock listed at $2.16 and traded around 6 cents higher for most of the afternoon. Still on finance, and the TAB float and strong trading in AMP shares contributed to a massive turnover on the exchange. The All Ordinaries closed the day 8 points higher. Of our leading stocks, News Corp gained 3 cents, AMP dipped 68, while BHP gained 48. Among the banks, the NAB gained 25 cents, Westpac 15, while the ANZ fell 5. On the cross rates, the Australian dollar is tonight fetching 60.83 US cents, 36.58 pence, and around 84 yen. Gold is trading at $295.30 US per ounce. In morning trade, London's FT 100 share index is down 39 points. Hong Kong's Hang Seng fell 137 points. Tokyo's Nikkei gained 41. Former Victorian Premier Joan Kirner has celebrated her 60th birthday with a revival of her hard rock alter ego. Ably assisted by David White and the Fishnets, including ACTU President Jenny George and comedian Jane Clifton, they set a Melbourne ballroom theatre a-jumping, the showstopper, an old Joan Jett number. Network 10's Battle of the Sexes may have sparked more love than war. A Queensland man has proposed to his girlfriend with an advertisement during the show.
This is how Philip Boshua proposed to his girlfriend, Christine.
I love you, Chrissy. I love you, Chrissy. I love you, Christine Louise Appenbrook.
Ironically, the 24-year-old chose the program that promotes rivalry between the sexes, but now Battle of the Sexes will have a whole new meaning.
Pure coincidence, actually. I just rang up Channel 10 and booked some airtime and happened to be in Battle of Sexes, but it was a good coincidence.
Philip owns his own production company, so he put his skills to use. What could be more romantic than visiting his local sentimental lookouts?
I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, Christine Louise Appenbrook, and I want to spend the rest of my life with you. Will you marry me? I went round to all the different romantic sites on the Sunshine Coast and held a handy cam out and just videoed myself going, "I love you, Chrissy. I love you, Christine."
Philip arranged for Christine and as many friends as he could contact to watch the program. And the response?
It was just a big shock and a big surprise. It was just unreal. Something I'd never expect and I'll always remember.
And what about the proposal?
And he said, "So will you marry me? Will you marry me?" And I was like, yes, I will marry you.
Invitations for next month's engagement are already available on CD. And what's expected for the big wedding in October is anyone's guess. Karen Tan, 10 News.
Romance in the 90s. The national weather details are next, and then the New Look Sports Tonight with Tim Webster.
Change as good as a holiday, Sandra. Coming up, South Sydney League coach Steve Martin hits back at his detractors. The latest from tonight's AFL Tribunal. We warm up for the start of Wimbledon, of course, and one of golf's all-time great comebacks, American Lee Janzen's stunning win in the US Open.
To the news on the weather front now, and there was plenty of cloud in the east today, especially over New South Wales, and patchy cloud in WA. Tomorrow, a deep low pressure system in the Tasman Sea is likely to push gale force winds along the New South Wales coast, while a high pressure system moves into South Australia. So looking ahead, an early shower tomorrow in Cairns, fine in Townsville, dry and cool in Brisbane. Sydney will be wet and windy. Canberra and Melbourne will both be damp, while Hobart will be fine. A few showers forecast for Adelaide. Fine weather on the way for Perth, Darwin and the Alice. And that's our day this Monday, the 22nd of June. 10's next National Bulletin, 11:30 tomorrow morning. Stay with us now for Sports Tonight with Tim Webster. I'm Sandra Sully from the Lake News team. See you tomorrow.